Jungkook stopped at Incheon International Airport, looking back 3 times in a row, and for the first time in the history of his public appearances, his face looked blank. What exactly happened? Why did the golden magne of BTS seem to be looking for someone in the dense crowd of fans and media on July 11, 2025? Those moments were captured in a short clip that has now surpassed 30 million views on global social media. Jungkook, known for always being quick and calm, suddenly slowed his pace right before the airport exit. His gaze pierced through the thick glass separating the arrival area from the public space. He looked back once, quickly, then looked back again, more slowly, as if to make sure. The third time, his body seemed to tense up for a moment, and at that moment, silence was felt amidst the roar of his fans. He was searching. But who was he looking for? It only took a few minutes for the global BTS fandom to link one name: Jimin. Why did Jungkook seem restless, not scolding the press and walking without a smile when he usually gives a brief greeting before getting into the car? Why this time did he seem to be waiting for someone to emerge from the terminal? Quick information circulating confirmed that Jimin was also in Los Angeles during the same period and was scheduled to arrive in Seoul with a time difference of less than an hour with Jungkook, although their airlines and terminals were different. However, to this day, there are no photos or recordings of Jimin at the airport on that day. No camera flashes captured him. No fans saw his presence in the arrival lane. He disappeared as if he had never landed. This is what sparked a storm of speculation. Was Jungkook indeed waiting for Jimin? Were they supposed to come out together in front of the media? Or was there a sudden change that made Jimin go through an exclusive lane to avoid the crowd? Celebrity behavior observers assess that Jungkook's movements were not coincidental. A head turning at a stable angle, eyes scanning one direction repeatedly, and breath that seemed held back are indicators that often appear when someone is waiting for their closest person to appear in a public location. But no one appeared that day. Jungkook's face tensed up right before he stepped into the car. No smile, no wave, just silence that raises deeper questions. Was he disappointed? Fan theories are running wild. Some say this is part of HYB's management strategy to separate the arrival schedules of artists to avoid excessive crowds at one point. Others consider this an indication of unstable emotional dynamics between the two BTS members. For fans who have studied their lyrics and interactions all this time, that moment feels like a puzzle piece from a longer narrative. Longing, expectation, and a cancelled meeting.so. Where was Jimin actually at that time? Based on public flight data, the plane he was on landed safely in Incheon approximately 45 minutes after Jungkook's plane arrived. However, there was no sighting of him at the international arrival gate. No paparazzi reports. No staff guiding him out in the standard K-pop idol manner. Just silence. Internal airport sources mentioned the possibility of Jimin using the VVIP diplomatic lane provided for state guests or celebrities who need full privacy protection. However, sudden decisions like this are usually arranged before the plane lands. Did Jimin deliberately avoid meeting Jungkook in public? Or did he have a different agenda that demanded strict confidentiality that day? On the other hand, Jungkook's expression captured on camera has sparked a wave of emotional analysis in the South Korean academic community. A mass communication lecturer at Seoul National University stated that Jungkook's nonverbal behavior at that time displayed mixed signals of anxious anticipation and unfulfilled expectancy, where someone waits and hopes, but eventually gives up on the fact that the person they are waiting for does not arrive. This is not the first time Jungkook has been seen looking for Jimin in a public space. In 2019, fans also documented how his eyes kept looking back while walking towards the van after a concert in Osaka, and that day Jimin was indeed left behind in the arena due to internal staff matters. However, the moment at Incheon Airport this time was different because it was clearly recorded by dozens of cameras, showing a side of Jungkook that rarely appears, anxious and without an expression of self-protection. Now, the question that troubles millions of global fans remains unanswered. Was Jungkook waiting for Jimin because there was an important meeting planned? Was that moment just a miscommunication of schedules between management and airport staff? Or is this a silent picture of two close friends who, whether by emotional distance or logistical decisions, no longer walk side by side as before? In Jungkook's silence at the airport exit that day, there were 1,000 unspoken words. And until today, only one thing is certain. Behind the camera flashes, the voices of fans, and the professionalism of the staff, stood a young man who looked back, waiting for someone who never appeared. Someone who, for him, their presence might mean more than just a step on the airport carpet. Someone who that day, even though they didn't come, left a silence that sounded the loudest. However, behind the dramatic silence and Jungkook's blank stare at Incheon International Airport, one important question emerges. Is all of this really real? Are we really witnessing an emotional moment of a global artist waiting for the presence of his closest figure? Or is this just a fragment of a viral narrative that is compiled, exaggerated, and reproduced massively by the media and fandom for engagement? Let's reflect for a moment. If only the camera hadn't highlighted Jungkook's face right at the moment he looked back, if there were no TikTok edits with melancholic music that reinforced the emotion, if there were no Twitter threads linking this clip with past theories about their dynamics, would we still interpret it as a heartbreak drama? What are we actually witnessing? Reality or social media construction? The facts we have today are: Jungkook looked back several times. He stopped for a moment. His face was not smiling. Jimin was not seen in the arrival area at that time. But the rest, about whether he was waiting for Jimin, whether there was a canceled meeting plan, or whether this is all part of a management strategy. Is our emotional interpretation alone? Do we forget that BTS and their management are global entities that live in a highly planned communication and public image strategy? Do we really think that moments like this escape without consideration, without control, without knowledge from internal parties? Or conversely, are we actually becoming part of that communication strategy itself? Imagine this. A clip recorded by a fan site. The fan site uploads it with a dramatic caption. The clip is re-downloaded by a popular TikTok account with a melancholic song as the background. Thousands of comments appear, expressing sympathy and emotional responses. Then online media picks it up as a headline. And in the end, here we are now, talking about that moment as if we were all there and understood what was happening in Jungkook's head. Do we really know, or do we just believe in what we want to believe? It is important to remember. All our sources of information today, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram Reels, even official online media, have one thing in common: they are all chasing engagement. And in today's digital system, the best engagement comes from our deepest emotions. Happiness, anger, or sadness, all are harvested for the sake of numbers. Is it possible that the news about Jungkook waiting for Jimin is one example of how the media system works? Does that short clip really show a young man longing for his best friend? Or is it just a collective interpretation of the fandom projecting their hopes and expectations into their idol's narrative? If it's true that this is just an ordinary moment that has been exaggerated, who benefits the most? The fan site that went viral? The online media whose traffic increased by tens of thousands of views? The TikTok account whose followers increased drastically? We live in an era where cameras capture everything, but no camera has ever truly captured the whole truth behind someone's eyes. That truth only belongs to the owner of those eyes. And for us, the watching public, there is only one task: to think critically before believing. Thank you. We invite you to discuss this question in the comments section and share it with your friends. Was Jungkook really waiting for Jimin, or do we just want him to be?